this is what I'm going to be making today for you.
Very cool.
And this one is painted with milk paint. That's an option to dress them up. I like the milk paint because it gives it an antique type of look. Looks like it's been sitting around for a while in people's homes and gives it a nice heirloom quality to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look at that because I usually either stick with a natural finish or I'll do some like dyed stabilized wood. Depending on what it is I'm trying to go for. I've not used milk paint on anything though.
Well, I can do that today. I've got some milk paint already mixed up right here, so we can go for that today.
That's cool.
So first thing I was going to do is show you how to make the globe. And it's just a basic square piece of burl on this one with a glue block, because you don't want to waste all that burl sticking it into the chuck and then turn into waste wood. So I always glue them up like this. Just tighten her up. How much experience of turning do you have?
Off and on for the last 20 years.
Oh, there you go. I've been turning for 20 years.
I was president of the Orange County Woodturners for a few years.
Oh, okay.
Things have slowed down quite a bit for me in the last couple of years of dealing with a lung transplant and then cancer following that. So it's kind of slowed me down in my wood turning.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that can get to you. I have a really bad back. I've had 3 surgeries on my back. So I figure I'm pretty fortunate to be able to still come out here and do this kind of stuff.
Yep. Yeah, my wife's dealing with that now. She's had one fusion and a disc replacement.
Oh, that's well. They're talking now. They want to do a hip replacement surgery on me next month. So.
Yeah, they just start replacing parts as they wear out anymore.
Yeah, that's for sure. So I got this I'm using a Talon chuck. You can use any chuck you want that'll fit the glue block. And the glue blocks, I prefer to use the regular wood glue and glue them together instead of using the CA glue. The CA glue tends I'll make like 10 of these and at least 1 or 2 will pop off the glue block. So I've learned to use the wood glue and let it sit overnight. And then very rarely do they come off. I'm going to use a 1/2-inch bowl gouge. I know it seems kind of weird. You can use a spindle gouge, but for some reason I just like using a bowl gouge for this because it's what I'm going to be basically doing is making a very large bead. And you can turn this fairly fast. About 2,000 RPMs where I'm at, thereabouts. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it round. I'm going to I approach the piece with the gouge at 45 degrees. And I'm using just this point. Oh, I'm on the wrong one. There we go. I'm using right there on this point right here. I've got it turned at 45 degrees. Yeah, still a little bit square there. I can feel it on my tool. Let's see where we're at here. All right, got it nice and round. So now we can start turning on that bead there. Kind of what we got there. There we go. You know, I'm going to highlight my picture here so I can just, you can see it full screen. There we go. Better view that way, at least for me. And I'm going to lower the tool rest just a hair so I can swing the tool around. Same thing, 45 degrees. I'm just going to cut a straight angle. And I'm going to just mark a pencil mark right where it looks like it's about the middle of the piece there. And the reason for the angle, it makes it easier just to get that curve going. You can just curve it right into that straight angle there. And you're going to want to swing your tail stock around. And just take your time doing the cut. And we'll just do it like a finish cut. Get any pieces, any parts that look a little high. And I can come back and do a shear scrape on there just to clean it up. As you can see, it's just like a nice round curve there. What it's going to end up being, it's going to be like an oval shape as far as the bead shape goes.
Scott, about what size block is that for the blank?
I start between 2 1/4 and 2 1/2.
Okay.
You can go bigger, you can go smaller. I've got a couple of, here's a large one, and here's a small one.
Gotcha.
All depends on what you want to. There we go. That's a small one there. There's the large one. You can make them pretty much any design you want. We're going to hollow these out to make them really light when we get down to it. That part of it. So I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring my tool in. Let's see if I can get a better look there. Let's try a different one here. Yeah, where is that one? Yeah, let's turn this camera just a little bit there. Now you can have an idea of the angle I'm moving the tool at, up and down and such. And I'm going to cut some of that glue block away. And I'm just going to get the basic shape going on the back side because I want to leave a bit of that meat on there just to, because I need to hollow it out, so you don't want to take too much wood off of there. Then we'll come back and clean that up when we're done hollowing. Just kind of clean up any high spots you might see. So I'm going to get my parting tool, and I'm just going to put a little divot right in the center there for the drill bit to go in, because we're going to drill it out first for the hollowing tools. So we can turn that blade down before we drill it. And we're going to slide the tailstock up. This is a 3/8 or point. It's a 8mm drill bit. The 3/8 will work just as well. What I need to do first, I got ahead of myself there. I need to use the Forstner bit first. I had this in there for the last time I drilled a hole. This is a 5/8 drill bit, but that might change depending on what kind of hollowing tools you're going to use. And I already marked the tape with a piece of tape on the how far I want to go into the piece right there. But it's about halfway in. And I'm right where I want to be. Block. There's. Now I want to change that to that small bit. And drill all the way through. The hole in the bottom is going to be larger than the hole in the top of the piece. And I'll show you why I like to do that in a minute. We're using a little jig so it can clean up the piece that was connected to the glue block side of it. We're going to bring the drill bit in, and we'll just finish drilling all the way through. And we are all the way through. And I'm going to take this chuck out of here. I don't need my arm getting jabbed by that point of the drill bit.
Okay, so the Forstner was 5/8 and the twist drill was 3/8.
Yeah, you can use a 3/8 or an 8mm.
Okay.
That's what usually works well for me. What I want to do is bring the tool rest up. I need to grab my hollowing tools here real quick. I'll be using a Hunter carbide hollowing tool, but you can use almost any tool. I've got some that are like miniature David Ellsworth type hollowing tools and a few others. I prefer this one. It cuts really quick.
Yeah, I just bought a set of, or not just, but last year bought a set of miniature Hunters.
Yeah, they're really nice. I like using them. They really cut really well. You just got to make sure you go in on an angle. They can get a little grabby if you're not careful.
Yeah, a little more excitement than I really want.
Yeah, I know what that feels like. Just make sure my tailstock was out of the way. And this is on the center line there. I need to drop my tool rest just a little bit here. There we go. And then to the side view there. You get a good look in there. I can probably do just a little bit better. There we go. And we're just going to turn it up. Not super fast. You don't want to be hollowing this at breakneck speeds here. So I'm about 1300. And I go in on it. Oh, I need to raise the tool rest up a little bit. The bottom of the tool is rubbing on the bottom of the hole there. You don't want that. And I'm just bringing it right into the entrance right here and just basically scooping the wood out. we'll see where we're at. We got a little bit to go. Sometimes this burl is a little tough to cut. Probably enough. We're not worried about measuring the inside. This is just to lighten up the piece so it hangs nice on the tree. I'll pull that stuff out when we get done. Yeah, that's good and hollow right there. So we can go ahead and finish the back side. There it is. Pull gouge here. We're going to turn it up a bit, back up to where we were, and probably about 1900 RPMs. And we're just going to peel away on this glue block. We'll come back around. Then you can just do a shear scrape to get that shape going. In a minute, I'm going to show you how to clean up this bottom right here, because it's going to pop off, and they usually don't come off very pretty looking. Now would be a time just to grab a quick piece of sandpaper, and it's going to use 180 today. I don't just clean it up real quick. And we'll have a look, see what it looks like there. Slight line. Sandpaper. Clean that up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a thin parting tool. I'm going to part this off very carefully. I'm going to turn down the speed so in case it comes off before I want it to, it won't go flying across the shop. And just follow along, do a cut there, then use your parting tool to follow that shape down. And we got to remember there's a hole in this. So you can only go so far, and it's going to come off of the lathe here. I can hear it getting down there. And the bottom part always comes out ugly. I'm going to show you how to clean that up. And there's the back side of it, bottom of the piece. I'm going to change this out and put a little jig that I make out of wood that's real simple to do. Find one that this one will fit on nicely here. work. So this is the little jig I've got that I make out of wood. This is cut down to the small diameter hole there, and then it's tapered up. So when you attach it to the jig, small hole goes there and it tightens up against that taper. Just like that. And you can make these all different sizes depending on the size of your ornaments, which is real fun to do. I make these in all kinds of different sizes. What I also like to do is, just for safety reasons, sometimes these will come loose off the jig. I'll grab my tailstock. And I get a little piece of pipe fitting that just comes up against the threads. I'll bring that up.
That's cool. I like that idea.
Yes. Kept trying to figure out what I've seen these guys, they sit there and they do that, and then they sit there and they sand it. And I'm just like, man, there's got to be an easier way. I'm going to take a small spindle gouge and just clean up that backside right here.
What is that, a half-inch coupler fitting?
What is it? I think it's 3/8.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it's ½ inch. It's a ½ inch coupling.
Okay.
Yep, and it rests right. If you have a tail center like this is like a one-way tail center. It sits right up against the threads.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
thread right there.
That's a great idea.
So this is going to allow me to come in here and clean this up. I'm not worried about where that coupling is because that's where the top finial is going to go. And you want to leave that bare from any finish anyway. Then you can just finish up the shape there. Doing some shear cutting there. Still got a little bit of a ring there, so you got to take that off. I just usually just take my time with this, no hurries. Get a little bit of sharper spindle gouge here. There you go, that's better. Oh, the spindle gouge is kind of dull on me here.
Yeah.
Yeah, took all that glue residue off right there.
That's a wicked looking grind on the detail gouge.
Yeah, I like my detail gouges cut round like this. Then you can get way back inside there. I've got various sizes of different kinds of detail gouges. In fact, I have a real small one too. Really small.
Yeah.
That gets me.
Was that a 1/4 inch?
Yeah, that's what it is. And I'm doing my finials, you'll see me do that. Be using that quite a bit for that. So now what you want to do is just back this off. And you can see that residue. I'm going to come in there with very gently with that same gouge I was using there a second ago. If I can get away with cleaning that up without having to without it coming loose, but we'll see. A lot of times when you use that coupling, you add a little bit of pressure, it pushes the globe onto the jig a little tighter.
Yeah, I see that.
Clean that up pretty nice. A couple more cuts there. That's my phone, if you can hear that. It sounds like a rooster when somebody rings my doorbell. So we got a nice finished burl piece, and you can also use this jig to apply your finish. You know, finish the hand sanding and all that stuff. So it comes really handy besides just the cutting part. You can put the sanding sealer on it. I think I'm just gonna add a little bit to that because I want to see what that color, see that grain pop up real fast here. I'm gonna put some shellac sanding sealer on here.
Yeah, I'd really like to use dyes and stuff on burls just to try to bring the burl eye out of it.
Oh yeah, I can do that right now if you want to see me do it.
Sure.
All right.
I don't want to mess with your program here, Scott.
No, this is like a one-on-one for you, so this is great. I can do anything you want.
All right.
You want to see me do. So let me grab my tub of colors out of here. I'm kind of partial to blue. I don't know if you are.
Yeah, I kind of lean toward the blues and the reds. But yeah, blue's cool.
So I got royal blue and regular blue.
Okay.
So I'll put a little bit of the dark on there, then I'll sand some of that away, and then I'll add a lighter blue to it.
All right.
I'm going to put my protection board up here. A little bit further back. You can see if you look at the other side, you can see I've done a lot of this stuff.
That's the way they're supposed to look, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. It's like shows mileage, which is what I like to do. So this is chestnut stains. It's an alcohol-based stain.
Okay.
It has a little bit of shellac in it as a sealer too. I always start out with the darker colors, and then I'll sand a good part of that away and then add the lighter colors to it.
Scott, it has shellac in it because you put it in, or does it actually come with shellac in it?
It comes with the shellac in it.
Really? Okay.
Yep. I'm just going to get that down in there a little bit.
This is the brand that Craft Supply sells, right?
Yes, they sell it. You can also buy it through Jimmy Clues. And
Nevada? Yeah.
And you can get it at World of Texas, Wood World.
Okay.
They have it too.
I had the pleasure of taking a class with Jimmy a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
He's quite a guy.
I'm kind of friends with him. Yeah, I've been to his house a few times. A couple times we went out. He took me out to what he calls his gold mine. All right, so I'm going to use some 180 here. It should be dry already because this alcohol base, it dries off really, really fast. I didn't put any gloves on this time, but usually that dries on my fingers anyway, so it won't come off on anything. So I'm just going to You gotta always turn the sandpaper. I think I'm gonna need a light thicker. Maybe a anything to grab. Some 120 here. I think that's probably better. Turn down the speed a little bit. Otherwise, the paper just skips across the top there. What's going to happen is the dark is just going to get down into those exposed grains, and the sandpaper takes off any surface dye that's left. Now we're looking here. See how it's coming through right there. Yeah, so this is a one-on-one class for you. So there you go, you know.
I'm enjoying it.
That's good.
Yeah, this close to Christmas, people probably don't have time in their schedule.
I guess, because I was really surprised. You know, I posted this a little over a week ago that I was doing it, and I kept waiting and waiting for somebody to sign up, and then you signed up this morning. I'm like, well, good. At least I can have a one-on-one class.
Yeah.
Yeah, there goes my phone again. My grandsons are going in and out of the front door. That's why it keeps going off. So I'll add some lighter blue now. Another piece of paper towel. And I go through paper towels like crazy. Now, I set those aside to dry before I throw them in the trash can. It's because it's got alcohol in it.
Yeah.
You don't want them to accidentally self-combust. So this is the regular light blue. You'll be able to see the difference in the color. It looks green on a paper towel.
It sure does. Yeah.
Isn't it? Crazy. But it is blue. I thought I put the wrong stuff in the wrong bottle, but I didn't.
Yeah, I tell you, if that came out in a cloth, I'd swear it was green.
Yeah. Get this back in here. Now you can really see that grain popping in there.
Oh, yeah.
See that? Very, very nice. Now, you've made ornaments before, right?
Yes, I have.
What kind of finish do you like to use on them?
You know, I've gone a couple of different ways. Of late, my final finish on them is lacquer.
Yeah.
Well, I've done friction polish in the past, but it's not very durable.
What I've got is called Hampshire Sheen polishing wax.
Okay.
And it's a high gloss wax. It's crazy how shiny a wax.
See, that's what I'm looking for. I want this is one thing when I'm making them is I want them to really pop. I want them to have the chatoyance and just really look bright. And I've been disappointed with most of my finishing.
Well, this wax I'll use it for you. I'll show you what it looks like.
Okay.
You need to put a quick sanding sealer on it first. And since this is a shellac sealer that I came up with alcohol, it dries pretty quick. That's a nice color variation in there.
It is.
You could add a little bit of yellow, a little bit of green to it too. I like it the way it is right there.
Yep.
So when you put the sealer on it, it's going to make it pop a little bit here.
So what are you just using bullseye out of the can and mixing with some alcohol?
Yep. Yeah, I use that Zinsser's.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and what I do, it's a sealer on its own, but I cut it again. I do half and half
Okay.
because it soaks into the wood fibers a lot faster. It doesn't leave such of a hard shell on the wood. It soaks in the wood and dries faster.
Okay.
So that's why it says you don't have to mix it. In fact, the instructions say don't mix it, but Jimmy Cruz is the one that told me to mix it.
Yeah.
He said mix it anyway. And it does. It makes a big difference. That should have. There's something. Turn on the lathe slow. Just kind of buff it a little bit here to help it dry.
You mean you don't put a match to it?
Not, I have in the past, but that gives me the willies a little bit sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a little bit nervous about flame in the shop.
Yeah. So I'm going to use a gray Scotch pad just to help denib it. Kind of smooth out the sealer a little bit before I apply the wax. Yeah, I think you'll like this. Once you see how well this wax works, I think you'll maybe want to try some. And where's the wax? There you are. Grab a screwdriver and pop that loose. So this is Hampshire Sheen high gloss wax.
Okay.
This is actually a
I've seen
can.
it talked about. I've never watched it being applied. So you purchase it in England, or is there a source here in the United States?
Wood World of Texas.
Okay.
Or the Walnut Log sells it.
All right.
So Martin ships it all the way from there in like in pallets, and then those guys, they distribute it, sell it here. So
now, do you use the other product too, the Hampshire grit?
Oh, the Yorkshire grit? No, I haven't used that. It's two different companies. A lot of people.
Oh, it is. Oh.
Yeah, a lot of people mistake it as being one company, but actually,
yeah, me included.
It's like Martin lives in Hampshire, so that's why he calls it Hampshire Sheen. And why it's called Yorkshire Grit is because that's where the guy who makes that lives, in England. Okay, so we're going to apply some of that wax with the lathe off. Just give it a decent coat. And you want to rub on it. Just rub it into the wood. You can add extra coatings to it. And then when you start feeling it, like grab the paper towel a little bit. That means it's drying. You want it to dry some before you actually buff it out. Just give it a minute here. Get some wax down in there. You feel it's already drying a bit. So you want to get a clean piece of paper towel. And it's just a light touch. You're just buffing it. You're not trying to push it into the wood or anything. It's just a nice light touch. And it'll probably take a couple of coats just to get a good shine on this. And you can turn it up pretty good for this, because you're buffing it out. So, and try to use the pads of your finger, not your fingertips, when you do this. And I already can see the shine coming up.
Yeah, you can see it's lifting the shine on it, yeah.
And I'll come back here. Just gently bring it across the top there. Just a couple of passes. And probably need one more coat. You see the shine starting on it. One more coat. Usually the base coat doesn't come out too shiny. It's the layers that help become, gives it that gloss.
Yeah. So what is it? Is it a microcrystalline wax like Renaissance wax?
Yeah, it has that in it, and it really helps keep from fingerprints from forming on it. And it's got carnauba wax and a couple of other things that Martin won't tell anybody.
Oh, okay.
But it is it's food and toy safe. Martin used to make it in he called it his wax shed, but he sells so much of it now he actually had to go to a manufacturer to have them start making it for him. But they make it right to his formula, so
It's nice to see a small guy succeed.
oh yeah. No, I'm all for that. Got enough wax on there now, so I'm just let it sit for just a second here. Just keep rubbing it until I feel a bite into the cloth. Tighten it up already. Let it sit. It's dry there, but not on top yet. Yeah, it takes a little practice to get this buffing with this stuff down, but it doesn't take too long, just a few pieces. There's no wax coming back off the cloth, so you got to push it a little harder, a little. It's kind of a shot we got on it this time. Yeah, it's getting there. But I want to move on to the finials. I'm sure you want to.
Okay.
Yeah, I do that. With these globes, I dye them. I scorch them. I literally burn them, and then I'll use a colored wax to fill in the grain with it, which really looks nice. Yeah, I can see the shine coming up. I don't know how well it's coming off on the camera.
Yeah, the camera probably doesn't really do it justice, but I get the gist of what you're doing with it. Yeah, I love the way the dye went into the burl, though. What a great look.
It's a really pretty piece. I'll get my other chuck out. Do some finial work.
I like your little jig. I think that's
yeah, it's really nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I always love to learn stuff like that from other turners that specialty stuff that they make to get the job done.
You can see all the different sizes I have.
Oh yeah.
Depending on how the ornaments come out. So you can have a handful of those.
Yep.
And it comes out pretty nice. very handy to have when you're making ornaments.
Yeah, it was only in recent years that I drilled like you did with 2 different size holes. I used to
Yeah,
just drill them through.
I learned that from Bob Roseanne, but he didn't have a jig like that. I don't know why. I came up with the jig on my own.
Yeah. Is Roseanne still turning?
When he when he wants to make money, he does. He's semi-retired.
They, it had to be 15 years ago. I attended a demo with him.
Yeah.
He and his wife traveled to California, and she sat in the back of the room painting ornaments while he was making them.
Yeah, we were.
I've still got that ornament. It's a gorgeous thing.
I've took what was it? Took a hands-on class when he visited my club. It's like 2008, I think. Well, it's been a while. So this is just a piece of 1x1, and it's looks like silver maple. That works really well for putting details in. It's pretty well centered on there, so I don't need to adjust that. I'm gonna need to bring the tailstock up. Not the tailstock, full rest up a little bit. And I'll be pulling out my I have a small roughing gouge for this.
Okay.
It's like that.
I was
right
also
there.
noticing your jaws. Those are what, 1-inch pin jaws?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they're serrated on the outside and the inside.
I see I see the serrations on the outside. I think I've got a smaller set of pin jaws, and they've only got a single ridge on them.
Oh, okay.
But
And that
looks like useful. Yeah.
And they actually have it's like a little curve right in here.
Yeah.
Right in here.
Oh yeah.
Right there, in case you got a piece of round stock, it'll grab hold of it a lot better that way.
Okay.
So I'm just going to turn this round and get the general shape going on it. There we are. These I like to turn them up a little bit. I'm like at 400 RPMs. So I'm just starting to give it like a nice cone shape here. So I'm going to use part of this to make the finial on the top. So I want to measure down a little bit so I don't go too far. Probably come to like right about there. That would be as far as I go as far as making the finial.
Okay.
Just the tool rest a little bit. A little closer there. I'm just going to bring this part to a point using my roughing gouge. Then I'll grab my spindle gouge and start going at it.
a nice little roughing guide. Who makes the roughing guide?
This is Packard.
I am not familiar with that.
Packard wood turning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they make their own brand of tools. Some of them, you know, like you don't find these like Craft Supply and stuff. They don't sell small roughing gouges like this. It's all Packard makes their own, and they make specialty tools just like that.
Okay. Baker.
Packard. Packard.
Oh, Packard.
Yeah, just like the car.
Okay. I wasn't hearing very well. Okay.
Is my mic sounding all right?
Yeah, you're talking to a guy who doesn't, I'm deaf in one ear and I have a hearing aid in the other.
Oh, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this tool in and just bring it ever so slightly into here and create a detail just by turning the tool into the wood. Like that. Then I'm going to bring my, what size is this? I never can remember the sizes of my tools. This tool is made out of M42 steel, and Craft Supply sells it. I really like it. It holds its sharpness really well.
Okay.
So I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a taper. Just going to work my way down in here. Just really, really light cuts. I'm going to stop there. I'm just going to put another little detail in right here. That way I can have like a little bead right here. And don't worry about trying to get the bead perfect. So I use a really light sandpaper to get that curve right.
Yep.
It's really too delicate to, you know, try to keep fighting at it and get it round like you want it to be.
They say sandpaper is your friend.
Huh?
Sandpaper is your friend.
Oh, yeah.
It is mine anyway.
Oh, I use it for all kinds of stuff. I mean, a little 400 right there would just clean that right up.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just creating a taper there, and I'm going to stop it and use the 400 sandpaper right now before I get too far into it. Yeah, we'll just bring that in there and just kind of make like a nice little round shape into the paper here, and you just go back and forth across that bead. And it does a really good job of just shaping that. You want to sand this in steps because it does get a little thin, and the pressure just from the sandpaper, even really light, can break the finial if you're not careful. So I'm going to keep getting it a little thinner with a nice little taper from there. And then the taper's going to come back out again. Grab that piece of sandpaper and go over it again. Oh, couple of high spots that the paper won't get rid of, so I'm just gonna clean those up. Really light cuts. So I'm gonna just make this a little more narrow here. The same with finials, you want them to make them as delicate as you possibly can, but not so delicate that if somebody touches it, it's going to break off in their hand. I'm going to come back this way a little bit. A bit of a high spot right there. So for this one, I'm going to put milk paint on it.
Okay.
It'll give it more of an antique type look. I'm just going to cut this down a little bit. Clean this part up with the sandpaper. I'm going to grab my small detail gouge here. I'm just going to curve this right into here. And then I'm going to start making a bead right here. And I could probably go just a little smaller right here. You're going to want to flatten this out a little bit. Come back in here and work on that bead a little more. And then we're going to put a little probe right in here. And sandpaper again. Sandpaper can get a little tedious, but it's a necessary thing that you want to get these right.
Yep.
Cut this down a little bit. And come back in here with the little detail gouge and clean this up. Give it a nice crisp edge there. Down in there, give it a nice little. And right here, I'm just going to make a little chamfer in towards inward there. So we are pretty much done with that. Let me finish sanding that. Then I'm going to measure where the tenon, I'm just going to start that area, and then I'll get the paint and paint it real quick. So I'm going to grab my parting tool. Start back this way. And we'll give it a take a look, make sure all the details are nice and crisp before we go adding paint to it. It's looking really good. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it.
So I was going to use white milk paint. It seems to work really nice with the contrasting blue that we dyed the globe with.
Okay.
Put this down this way. There we go. So I mixed this up about an hour or so ago. So that's the thing about milk paint. You want to mix it and then you want to let it sit for a little while.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And milk paint only lasts a day. After that, you got to throw it out.
All right.
But you can make it as thin or thick as you want, depending on how much of the powder you put in it. I like to make it a little bit thick. It'll coat it really good, and then I'm going to go back over it with sandpaper and highlight. It's going to make it look like these areas, the high points are worn a little bit, like it's been in a family for a while, like somebody's heirloom ornament. And it's going to be a little bit runny. That's normal. I'll come back with a paper towel and get that.
Your mixing medium is water?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I use just water, bottled water. It's nice and clean. Then I need to get paper towel in those little details here so paint doesn't dry in them.
So you're going for the consistency of like a syrup or something like that? Is that about how thick you want it?
A little less than that.
Okay.
You don't want to put so much on that it's going to get. I put too much on that in, but I was able to get it out. You just want to put a light coat on there so it doesn't fill in the details.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that.
And that's the good thing about these sponge brushes. You can go back in there and the sponge will get it out. It'll soak up the paint. A little bit more. It's better to do light coats and try to do one big heavy. There, so you just brush off what excess paint onto a paper towel. And then you can just go back into those little grooves with the brush. Some people don't like them painted. Some people do. Unfortunately, this year all my craft shows were canceled. I usually hit like 4 or 5 different craft shows a year during this time of the year. Yeah. Unfortunately, with the COVID and stuff, they had a couple of outdoor ones, but nobody even wanted to go to those. So
yeah,
turnout. I went to one of them. I had a booth at one of them, and the turnout was really sad. So I said, no, I'm not going to go to the rest of the outdoor ones. People are just too skittish to go to these things yet. I don't blame them. Everything's all right now.
yeah, it's been quite a year.
Yeah. I'm hoping next year will be better. So is everybody else, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all going to sit around and try to wish 2020 never happened.
It was one for the books, huh?
It was.
All right, so I'm going to let that just dry real quick. I'm going to get my hair dryer out.
The fly likes it.
Huh?
The fly likes it.
Yeah. We had some rain up here like yesterday. And whenever we get rain this time of year, we get some flies coming out the day after.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to use a blow dryer here to dry that real quick. Come on. That should have done it. Nice and dry. So I'm going to get that Scotch pad again. I use the gray ones. Don't use green because the green dye will actually come off onto the wood. So I usually use the gray, the dye, the color that usually doesn't come off, or the white ones are really nice for this.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to gently rub it until I see those. I'm just going to cover the whole thing to smooth it out. Kind of straightens out any brush marks you might have left on there.
What's the nice thing about paint? If you go too far, there's always more paint in the pot.
Yeah. So I'll probably get away with just using this today. So what I'm doing is I'm just applying a little extra pressure to those high points so the wood will start showing through.
Okay.
So those are the areas that would get worn the most as far as an antique piece would go. I'll get off the tip there. Yeah, we'll see how that looks. So you can see how it's getting that old-timey look on it. It's like it's been sitting around somebody's home for a long time. They only pull it out for Christmas.
If you wanted to put, say, a gray glaze over the top of the milk paint, would that work?
A what?
If you wanted to use a glaze over
sure.
the top of the milk paint, would that work?
Sure. Yeah. You can put almost anything over it. My Alexa is on. Click that off of my computer screen. I don't know what it's doing. Oh, my arrow was down at the bottom of my screen. So I'm just going to take a little bit more off. Kind of taper that look down this way a little bit. A bit more on this high spot. I've used sandpaper like this, but sandpaper sometimes it takes it off way too fast.
Yeah.
You know what? You don't want that. You want to be able to just take your time with it. Yep. That looks pretty cool. So what I need to do now is I need to part that off. The first thing I need to do, though, is get that globe. I'm going to measure the large hole in it. So I can create a tenon on this. So it'll fit right in there. It's nice. And when you make the tenon, you want it to be a little smaller than the hole. Gives the wood a little room to move. Just barely, I don't have to take much off of there at all.
I can say you're pretty close.
Yeah. After making a few hundred of these over the years, my eye gets to where I can pretty much almost get it.
Yeah.
I'm always just careful not to go too small.
Exactly.
So I'm going to use a really small parting tool first. And I'm going to cut this part down to where I think the measurement should be. I don't want to do it up here in case I go too small. And I have a little room for adjustment. All right, I'm right on it. So I'm going to grab my bigger parting tool. Double check that measurement up against the finial there. Yep. And now what I've done, see if you can see this or not. I've cut this small parting tool on an angle.
Yep.
And I will be using it like this so I can undercut the finial right in here.
Yep.
That allows it to sit on the globe a lot nicer. And then I can just come back in here and part it off, or almost part it off anyway. I'll just get it down to where I can twist it off, because nobody's going to see that spot anyway once it's glued into the globe. So that's going to look pretty nice right there.
It does look good. That's a good contrast.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it in the camera so you can see it.
Yeah.
So I'll make the top finial really quick. Those usually go really fast. There's not much to them. I don't like to put too much detail on the top of it, or it draws a lot of attention to the hook. So I'll just bring this out about halfway or so. And before I get to that, I'm going to measure that small opening on the top. So when I make the tenon, I don't have to stop again. I'm just going to measure this with the calipers. There we go. There. So I'm going to grab my spindle gouge and get this turn down into a circle here. Make it round. I need to turn the tool rest around this way so I can get to the top. Nope. Too close to the jaws.
Yeah.
And just do a nice cut like that. Let's see here, side view, so I can see that cut better this way. Bring that, it's just like a nice round curve. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring this, I'm going to grab my smaller detail gouge for this. Nice little detail right there. Bring it in, give it that nice crisp look, and we're going to curve that into here. And we can make this part a little smaller because the hole is smaller. I'm going to pare that down a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to do a back cut. Similar to what I did with the bottom of the larger finial. And my parting tool so I can straighten all this out here. What I want to do next is something you don't want to forget to do. I'm going to put a little dimple right in here. And then I'm going to sand that real quick. I need to put an eye hook in it so we can hang the ornament up. Smaller piece so I can get in there. And now we need to paint that one too. I'll just let the paint fall on this piece of cardboard easier. It's not sticking out so far. Piece of paper towel over here. So I need to brush some off. It's got a little bit of tat out. Clean that up just real quick. Repaint it. Got a little bit of a tear out right in here, so I'm going to clean that up. See how that looks. Still there. I think I should have got rid of it. It's better. Yeah, it doesn't take much paint for this part here. Just dab it in there. So paint off the brush.
Actually, after cleaning out the tear out, I like the definition on the cut better than I did the other one.
Yeah, yeah, it looks better. That's the thing about wood turning, though. Some cuts look much better than others. Put rest there. All right, I'll grab my blow dryer. Give it a blast real quick.
That fly is relentless.
Boy, that fly really likes that, doesn't it? I wonder if it can smell the lye that's in it or something, and it's attracted.
I have no idea. Yeah, he's attracted to it though.
Yeah. So I'm going to do the same thing here, but I'm going to. I need to grab my pin vise, the real small drill bit, and just slide it right down into that divot we created. I'm gonna grab me a. There they are. Give me a antique looking screw eye. Brass antique look to it. I find these at Hobby Lobby in the jewelry section. There we go. Right
like an antique bronze sort of look.
Yeah. So now I need to finish parting this off. Let's get my calipers. See how much I got to take off. I know it's a little bit. So I'm going to use my small parting tool for that because I don't have much room. We'll see where we're at here. Oh, that's a little too close for comfort. The jaws. Right on there. It's a little loose, but that's why I left a little room to play with here. Double check. It's got a little bit of play. Not too bad though. I'm going to come in here and do the same thing with an undercut. And just cut it down to where I know I can twist it off. Don't come flying off the lathe at you. There we go.
Yeah, in my shop, you'd never find that if it came off the lathe.
You'll never find it in mine either. Yeah, I'm going to put this camera up. Yeah, let's see.
All right.
There's that one. How's that look
nice.
to you? Look good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Oh, I can keep going. Anything else you want me to cover?
No, I'll let you go catch your afternoon tea or coffee or whatever. And
Yeah, well, I still got a half hour to go if you want me to keep going.
you know what? I picked up a few things today, Scott, and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Okay, thank you. I need a haircut.
There you go.
All the hair. Oh, my barbers are all closed.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the doctors found a way to take care of my hair, but
No. Yeah, it's getting pretty shaggy.
yeah, give you that Lost in the '60s look.
That's it.
There you go. Well, thank
All
you.
right. Hey, thanks a lot for coming.
All righty.
I really appreciate it. I'm going to be doing some more probably starting next year.
Okay.
I'm going to cover making platters and boxes and things like that. So keep an eye out.
I will. I absolutely will.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.